Most women don't actually know why they're attracted to certain men. They just feel it. And if you're the kind of guy who keeps getting ignored, friend-zoned, or brushed off, it's not because women aren't interested in you, it's because you're not triggering that feeling in the right way. Here's something most guys never figure out. You can attract a woman even if she's not interested at first, but only if you out it to her the right way. Not in a fake, over-the-top, trying too hard kind-off way. Not with pickup lines or alpha nonsense. You've got to speak to her in a way that hits on something deeper, something real. When you do that, her perception of you starts to shift. And that's when things change. The problem is, most guys talk to women like they're trying to win a job interview. They're too polite, too agreeable, or too focused on saying the right thing. That kind of energy doesn't spark interest, it blends in with the crowd. What actually works is learning how to carry a conversation in a way that makes her feel something different when she's around you. This isn't about buying something you're not. It's about unlocking a way of communicating that most men ever even think about. Once you learn how to do that, attraction becomes way less about luck and way more about skill. Welcome to Man of Substance. And if you're new here, glad you found your way in. If you've been following for a while, you already know. This space is all about practical real-world tools for men who are ready to move different. In this video, we're breaking down how to talk to women in a way that naturally creates attraction even if she wasn't interested at first. Not by trying to convince her, not by begging for attention, but by changing how you connect with her from the moment you speak. Stop being nice. It's killing your game. Stop being nice. It's killing your game. Most guys are taught that the way to get a woman's attention is by being this. Be polite, be respectful, be available, and while there's nothing wrong with being a good guy, here's thy sue. Being nice doesn't create attraction, it creates comfort. It creates familiarity, but it doesn't make her feel that spark. Women don't choose who they're attracted to based on manners. They choose based on how a guy makes them feel. And when you're constantly trying to play it safe, be agreeable, and avoid any kind of tension, you're giving off a vibe that says, I'm no threat, I want approval. Please like me. That doesn't pull hair in. It pushes you straight into Thefreen zone. There was this guy who went on a first date with a woman he'd been chatting with online. He showed up on team, held the door open, paid for everything, asked her lots of questions, smiled a lot. He did everything right, but there was no edge, no tension, no flirtation. It felt more like a job interview than a date. She thanked him at the end of the night, said he was so sweet, and then never replied to his next message. He thought he was being respectful. What he didn't realize was that he was blending in with every other overly polite guy she'd ever met. Beingness isn't the problem. The problem is when mice turns into boring, passive, or approval-seeking. Women want a man who's kind but also bold. Someone who has aspine. Someone who doesn't shape himself around what he thinks she wants. Instead of trying to be liked, focus on being real. Say what you actually think. Don't be afraid to tease her a little. Push back playfully or express your opinions even if they're different from hers. That confidence is what stands out. That's what makes a woman pause and pay attention. When you're too focused on being nice, you're not being you. You're just performing, hoping she rewards you for good behavior. But attraction doesn't work like that. It's not earned through politeness. It's sparked through presence, tension, and honesty. So next time you talk to a woman, drop that pressure to be the perfect gentleman. Be kind, but be bold. Be respectful, but don't be afraid to challenge her. That balance is what makes you different, and that's what keeps you out of the friend zone. Speak like you're already the prize too. Speak like you're already the prize. Most guys walk into conversations with women thinking they have something to prove, like they need to earn her interest or impress her before she'll give them the time of day. That mindset puts you at a disadvantage right away. It changes your tone, your body language, and the way you speak. And women can sense it instantly. If you treat her like the prize and you're so like someone trying to win her, you automatically lower your own value. You become just another guy trying to qualify. That doesn't create attraction. It creates pressure, and it makes you sound unsure of yourself, even if your words are fine. Now flip that around. When you talk to a woman like you're Theprise, everything changes. You're still respectful, but your energy is different. You're not trying to sell yourself, you're just being you. You're grounded, you're relaxed, you're not just saying, you're choosing. That creates a subtle shift in the dynamic in Sheffels. Speaking like the prize isn't about arrogance or acting like she's beneath you. It's about knowing your worth and carrying yourself like someone who doesn't need anything from her. You're open, curious and interested, but not needy, not trying too hard. This also changes how you deal with rejection or indifference. If a woman, Simpson interested, a guy who sees himself as prized doesn't take it personally, he doesn't get defensive. He doesn't beg for attention. He simply moves on without losing confidence because her interest doesn't define his value. This mindset also helps you avoid excelling yourself or seeking her approval. You say what you want to say, you ask what you want to ask. You don't filter yourself to make sure it's acceptable. You know who you are and you bring that energy into every interaction. The truth is women are drawn to men who act like they belong, men who speak with purpose and comfort. Not guys who tiptoe around every word hoping to keep her from losing interest. Now, next time you approach a woman, whether you just met or you've known her a while, check your mindset. Are you trying to impress her, or are you simply showing up as someone who knows what he brings to the table? You don't need permission to be confident. You don't need her to validate your worth. Speak like you already have it. Speak like Theprise, because when you do, she won't just hear your words. She feels the shift in energy. Don't react to her lead. The conversation 3. Don't react to her. Lead the conversation. Most men don't realize how much they give away by constantly reacting to a woman's mood, attitude, or vibe. When you're always adjusting based on what she's doing, you're not in control. You're following her lead, in the second she senses that, the dynamic shifts. You lose presence, you lose influence, and she loses interest. Leading a conversation doesn't mean dominating it. It means guiding it with intention. It means you're not just responding to what she gives you. You're creating the direction, the tone, the energy. You're steering things in a way that shows you're comfortable in your skin and not waiting on her to decide how things should go. When you're always reacting, the conversation becomes one-sided. You're waiting for her to be impressed, waiting for her to laugh, waiting for her to decide if the interaction is going anywhere. That's passive energy, and it's the kind that most women filter out quickly, leading us about being proactive. Start with something playful. Shift the subject when things get dull. Introduce a topic you actually care about. Ask questions that spark real conversation instead of same old surface level stuff. If she gives a short answer, don't scramble, just move it somewhere else. Keep it flowing without needing constant validation. This approach also shows confidence. A guy who leads isn't trying to entertain, he's just being intentional. He's not afraid to take risks with his words or his humor. He's not concerned about keeping things safe. He brings a certain weight to finer action, and women respond to fate even if they don't say it directly. It also communicates that you're not waiting to be impressed. You're evaluating the moment just as much as is. That mindset creates mutual respect. She can feel when a man is grounded enough to hold his own and lead without being overbearing. Another thing, leading the conversation doesn't mean filling every second with words. It means knowing when to pause, when to let something sit, when to switch gears. It's about being aware, not just locative. A guy who leads pays attention and adjusts with purpose, no doubt of insecurity. If you find yourself constantly trying to match her energy, change that habit. Lead with your own, bring your own pace, your own tone, your own style. Whether you're joking, buying direct, or diving into something deeper, make it yours. She feel that shift hand, it'll make a bigger impact than trying to match whatever vibe she's giving off. Speak from the front, not back. That's how you take the lead, and that's how you stand out. Flirt without apologizing for it. Flirt without apologizing for it. A lot of guys struggle with flirting backs. They're afraid of coming across the wrong way. They worry it'll feel too forward, too risky, or that it might make things awkward. So instead of flirting with confidence, they either avoid it completely or do it in a soft, nervous, half-hearted way. Almost like they're apologizing for it as they do it. That's exactly what kills the vibe. Flirting isn't about being smooth orising clever lines. It's about owning the energy you're bringing. If you're attracted to her, don't act like you're in it. Don't tiptoe around it. That doesn't mean you need to come on strong or be disrespectful. It just means you need to hide your interest. When you flirt with confidence, it shows you are comfortable with who you are. You're not afraid of being seen as a man who's playful, bold, or direct. You're in it waiting for permission to be expressive. You're already in themament, creating chemistry instead of hoping it shows up on its own. What trips a lot of guys up is that they think flirting is only about saying sexy or witty things. It's not. It's about how you say things. It's tone, timing, body language, eye contact. It's a smirk, a playful tease, or a comment that adds a little tension to the conversation. It's letting her feel your confidence without trying to explain or water it down. When you try to flirt while looking for approval, it comes off as unsure. She picks up on the hesitation. But when you flirt without overthink it, it becomes more natural, more fun. That's when she starts to engage back. And here's something a lot of men miss. Women like flirting. They enjoy the playfulness it's done with the right energy. They respond to a man who's not afraid to create a little tension, keep things unpredictable, and have fun with it. It breaks the routine. It sets you apart from every other guy who's too polite or too scared to go there. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to stop holding back. If you feel the spark, lean into it, be playful, be a little bold. Own your interest, without second-guessing every word. That's what builds the attraction. Not trying to be flawless, but being unapologetic about your energy. Drop the fear, drop the need for everything to be smooth. Flirt like you're not afraid to be seen, and watch how the interaction changes. Use silence to make her feel you. 5. Use silence to make her feel you. Most men rush to fill every gap in a conversation. The moment there's even half a second of silence, they jump in with something, anything, to keep the flow going. It comes from this belief that silence is awkward or dangerous. But when you learn how to sit with it and actually use it, silence becomes one of the strongest tools you have. Silence makes your words carry more weight, it creates space. It slows things down in a good way, and it signals calmness and control. 2 things women are naturally drawn to in a man. Imagine you're talking to a woman and there's a pause after something she says. Most guys will quickly change the topic or blurt something out to avoid the quiet. Instead, you just nod slightly, hold eye contact, maybe give a small smirk. You didn't rush to speak, you let the moment land. That pause, if you're comfortable in it, creates tension. The good kind, she feels it. You feel it. And that sticks more than anything you could have said. It also shows confidence. Silence doesn't bother Simeon, who's secure in himself. He doesn't feel the need to prove anything or keep performing. He can be present without needing constant feedback. That kind of energy makes people lean in. It creates curiosity. When you can hold silence with a woman and stay relaxed, it changes the tone of the whole interaction. It stops feeling like small talk and starts feeling like something more. Even if the conversation is light, the way you handle those quiet moments makes a bigger impression than any jokier story. It's also a way to show Thatcher is no rush to impress. You're not chasing, you're not looking for validation. You're just there, fully there. That presence is rare. Most guys are too focused on how they're coming across to even enjoy the moment. But when you're comfortable with silence, it shows that you're not thinking ahead, you're just locked in. This doesn't mean you should sit in silence the whole time or make it awkward on purpose. It just means you don't rush. You give space when it's needed. You let your presence speak louder than your words sometimes. That creates a deeper vibe. One Sherry members, even if she can't explain why, being talkative won't make you more attractive. Being present will, and knowing when not to speak is just as important as knowing what to say. Challenge her instead of pleasing her. 6. Challenge her instead of pleasing her. Most guys are way too focused on being liked. They want to be agreeable, easygoing, and non-threatening in hopes that it makes a woman more open to them, but all that really does is put you in the same category as every other guy trying to play it safe. The truth is, women don't want a pushover. They want someone who can challenge them. Not aggressively, but in a way that shows confidence, personality, and strength. When you challenge a woman, you're showing her that you're not just another guy looking for approval. You're showing that you have your own opinions, your own pace, and you're not afraid to speak up or stand your ground when something doesn't align with you. That kind of energy gets noticed. This doesn't mean being rude or argumentative. It means not automatically agreeing with the very thing she says just to stay in her good graces. It means teasing her a bit when it's playful. It means asking real questions when something doesn't make sense. It means having standards, not just for who you're attracted to, but for how you expect to be treated and what kind of vibe you allow in your space. When you challenge her, you shift dynamic. Instead of chasing her, you'll create a situation where she wants to impress you. She starts to care more about how you see her. And that flip in energy builds a different kind of attraction. One that's based on mutual respect, not just validation seeking. A lot of men think they're being respectful by constantly agreeing or never pushing back. But what they're actually doing is shrinking themselves to avoid conflict. That doesn't create chemistry. It creates boredom. You want to be the guy who keeps her mentality. Not the guy who just nods and agrees because he's afraid to stand out. The strongest connections aren't built through constant agreement. They're built through energy, tension, and contrast. When you bring that into your interactions, when you're unafraid to call things out or push back in a playful, confident way, it shows here you're secure in who you are. That's what sticks with her. Remember, attraction isn't about being perfect in her eyes. It's about being real, strong, and uncheckable in yours. If she feels like she has to earn your interest, not just the other way around, it makes whole interaction more exciting. Pleasing her might make you seem nice. Challenging her makes you stand out. Talk less, but with more impact. 7. Talk less, but with more impact. Too many guys talk too much when they're around women. They think if they keep the conversation going nonstop, they'll seem more interesting, confident, or likable. But what usually happens is the opposite. They start rambling, over-explaining, or overcompensating. It waters down their presence and kills the vibe. If this is something you catch yourself doing, it's time to take a step back. When you speak less and with more purpose, you come across as someone who values his words and his time. That kind of energy draws people in because it creates curiosity. It shows restraint and it makes your presence feel more grounded. Here's the thing. Men who are confident don't feel the need to constantly fill the air. They don't explain every little thing. They don't oversell themselves. And they're not worried about keeping a woman entertained every second. They're selective with their words. And when they speak, it actually means something. If you're used to talking a lot when you're nervous or unsure of yourself, that's something worth being honest about. Catch yourself when you're going off track. Ask yourself, are you adding value to the moment, or are you just trying to avoid silence or impress her? If it's the second one, pause. Get comfortable saying less and letting your energy do more of the work. It also helps you listen better when you're not always thinking about what to say next. You're actually paying attention to what she's saying. That makes your response sharper, more relevant, and more natural. You stop sounding like a guy performing and start sounding like someone who's really present. The good news is you don't need to become some mysterious silent type. You just need to break the habit of talking without erection. You can still be fun, expressive, and open, but with control. Speak with purpose. Let your words land. Let the moments breathe. A lot of men haven't trained themselves to volubility, presence, and timing. But on SEO, start doing it. Everything about how you communicate changes. You start coming off more intentional, more confident, and more powerful without having to say a single extra word. Look, if you've been that guy who talks to Mitch when he's unsure or tries too hard to keep the energy up, acknowledge it. That's the first step. Then start practicing the shift. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be aware and be willing to change. Speak less. Say more. That's how you start building real presence and real attraction. Conclusion: most guys are focused on what to say to women, but the real power comes from how you carry yourself while saying it. The way you speak, the energy behind your words, your ability to lead, stay calm, and challenge her. That's what sets you apart. And here's the part that might sting a little. If she's not feeling it, it's rarely because of what you said. It's usually how you said it. This is where you separate yourself from that crowd. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need cheesy lines or a fake personality. You need awareness. You need to drop the habits that make you look like every other guy trying to win her over and start showing up like the man she's not used to meeting. These even shifts can completely change the way women respond to you. Not by making you someone else, but by pulling Phoebus' version of you forward. The confident version, the grounded version, the version that doesn't chase, doesn't avert, and doesn't ask for permission to lead the moment. Now, I want to harp on you. Which one of these hit you hardest? What are you already doing well? And where do you know you need to level up? Drop it in the comments. I'll be down there replying, and I'd love to hear your take. This channel is about learning, growth, and getting real together. Keep showing up. Keep getting better. You've got this.